This is the Hyundai Bayon. It's a fantastic new addition to the crossover class that's quickly getting as packed as a London tube during rush hour. Question is, how does it compare to my daily drive, the Ford Puma? The growing popularity of SUVs is understandable. They've got plenty of space, great to drive and offer bags of tech. But what if you're not so keen on the size? That's where the crossover comes in.
Bayon roughly translates as statement in Uzbek, but I'm not fluent, so bear with me. Let's see throughout this video if the car makes enough of a statement for me to consider it to be my new daily. Now the Bayon is quirky, but what's wrong with that? Hyundai designers have really taken the go big or go home mantra to heart, and boy, have they gone big. The Bayon now sports a grille less wide than it used to. It doesn't look like it's trying to swallow up the entire road that the car's driving on. And the headlights, well, they used to be eccentric, but they've now ascended to the realm of modern art installation. They're slimmer, sharper, and probably smarter than your phone. Moving down the side of the Bayon, its profile remains largely unchanged. A hatchback that's been down the gym. But wait, what's this? Wheels that have been inspired by kaleidoscopes. Bravo Hyundai, bravo. At the back, the lights have been given a nip and tuck, and they're now connected through a light bar as well. I love a light bar. And the bumper's been resculpted to round off the back to give you a lovely wee crossover. Hyundai are offering 3 specs of Bayon: the Advanced, the Premium and the Ultimate. Now the base model gives you loads of tech. Too much to actually list, but a couple of examples: electrically folded heated wing mirrors, tinted glass in the back, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. When you upgrade to the Premium, you get 17-inch alloy wheels, a heated steering wheel, and a few extra gadgets. And when you go for the Ultimate, you get the bad boy sunroof and the Bose premium sound system. Now the Bayon's engine options are pretty limited. It comes with a 1-litre turbocharged petrol mild hybrid. There's 2 different power variants, and you can have 2 options of gearbox as well. You can have a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DCT automatic transmission. The base version gives you 99 brake horsepower, and you're looking at 0 to 62 in just a whisker over 11 seconds. The automatic version will be slightly slower than that, but the top speed is still 112 miles per hour. Now Hyundai say this car is very, very efficient, 53.3 miles per gallon, and also 120 grams of CO2 emissions per kilometre. Whoever designed the new line of Hyundais clearly has a vision of the future. But I do like there's still a button I can push here, very similar to my Puma. I've got a direct connection with the car. I don't need to fiddle about in a menu to find my way around. The cabin layout remains driver focused, and Hyundai have clearly gone for more is more when it comes to tech. Now the dashboard is dominated by a new larger infotainment screen, and it's not just big for being big's sake. It's more intuitive, it's responsive, but more importantly, after 5 minutes, it's not covered in fingerprints. The materials, a mixture of soft touch plastics and fabrics. It's maybe not luxurious, but it's definitely a step up from the utilitarian option that we had before. It's practical, and it's trying to be premium. The seats are supportive enough to make sure you're comfortable for any journey, and there's enough adjustment around there to make sure that any individual, no matter how awkwardly shaped they are, can find a good driving position.
The back seats are pretty minimal. There aren't any optional extras to jazz it up back here either. So what you see is what you get. One sole USB-C port will provide necessary charging to kids and passengers, and ISOFIX is available right here. The boot is pretty big, but one thing I've noticed is my Puma is actually bigger. Maybe something to think about if you're considering the switch. But is it any good to drive?
Yes, it is. Let's talk about how the Bayon handles the daily grind though. Now whether you make your journeys up through the school run, your own work commute, or you maybe go away for that odd weekend jaunt, this could be the perfect car. The steering is nice and light and nimble, and it's going to be perfect for getting into any tight parking spaces or if you have to negotiate through the city centre. You don't need to be a race driver to get the most out of the Bayon. It's all about making that journey more enjoyable. Now the engine options you get with the Bayon are pretty limited. You've got a 1-litre turbocharged petrol mild hybrid under the bonnet. That comes in 2 different power variants though. You can marry that up with a 6-speed manual transmission or a 7-speed automatic DCT transmission. It'll do 0 to 62 in just over 11 seconds. You're also looking at getting 53.3 miles per gallon back on the fuel economy, so it's quite good on the old pocket. Your top speed is 112 miles per hour. And it purrs along the road just fine. One thing that is a must for me is a car that has driver modes that you can actually feel a difference in. In my Puma, I use my driving modes all the time when I'm driving, especially if I'm on a country road and I need to get past somebody. I'll quite happily go from normal and drop it into sport, and it gives me that little bit of urgency when I pull out to accelerate and get past. And I'm pleasantly surprised that Hyundai are going down the same route. I can feel a noticeable difference when I go from normal into sport. Remember, you have got eco as well, because we all have to waft along the road, and Duncan loves to save that little bit of money in his pocket. But when you do drop it into sport, yes, the Bayon goes. The Bayon's competition is fierce, and Hyundai have had to offer an awful lot of tech for a much lower price, because they're up against the major motor manufacturers. Volkswagen with their T-Cross, Renault with the Captur, and remember Ford with their Puma, and everybody's fighting for the same bit of crossover pie. The price of this car massively undercuts its competitors, but does it hold up? Yes, it does, I think. So who's buying this car? Is it families? Young professionals? People who still want the feel of that hatchback car but don't want to get away from it and want a little bit more space? If that's the case, the Bayon could be the one. Personal choice for driving this car. I want to be as low as I can, and I like the steering wheel high and back towards me, and I've got it pretty much bang on. One thing I will say, with other crossovers I've driven, the door mirrors do seem to be an awful lot bigger than this, and they don't seem to give me too much wind noise back, which was a little bit of a concern for me. But the road noise, well, I can hear it. I can also hear the engine noise. It's quite pronounced when you accelerate and ask for a good bit of throttle in the car. But it's not to put you off. It's the same in all other crossovers. But there's a nice connection. I feel connected to the road, through the tyres, through the seats. When I get to a corner, put a bit of steering angle in, it just feels right. For me, the car to choose would be the ultimate. It comes with all the tech you would want and more. The sunroof, the Bose sound system, and remember, the price that comes in is a massive chunk less than what its competitors are looking for. Now, for road holding and handling, it does feel a little bit softer than what I'm used to. My other crossover seems a little bit more taut in places, and it does have a bit of body roll. It's very direct when you put some effort into the steering and where it wants to go, but spongy, soft, or maybe it's just comfortable. The crossover, I'm a lover. They sit in their own little niche bracket, and they offer everything I want for a daily driver. The Bayon, well, it's perfect for you. If you're looking for something that's going to make the drive more fun, it's not going to break the bank balance, and it's also still pretty cool, this could be the car for you. It makes that daily drive that little bit more enjoyable. I'm Duncan Vincent. This has been the Arnold Clark YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a notification or an upload from us. And until next time, safe driving.